Man, see, I be meditating, right? And you was asking me like how I keep my confidence and how I don't get frustrated. Dude, I dropped so much relevant music, not even just music, like, you know what I mean? All of my projects.
When there's nobody to call, you call your big homie Rob Markman on Twitter. Send all your hate mail. Okay, maybe only the Taylors got that one. If you're not a Taylor and you don't know, we're here. This is For the Record with my man Wiz Khalifa. Wiz, what's up?
What up, baby?
What's going on, bro?
Oh, we back, man.
Nah, man. Thank you for coming, man. How you
Thank
doing?
you for having me, bro. I'm just chilling.
You just chilling?
Yep.
Working, man. Rolling Papers 2.
Yep.
July 13th.
Yep.
Rolling Papers 2, why? What made you want to go back? Because I remember when Rolling Papers first came out, you were already Wiz Khalifa. The funny thing is the deal, the first major label album, didn't really define you. So it was a transition.
Yeah.
I remember that time of you figuring how to bring your sound even more to the masses that you already had. What made you want to go revisit Rolling Papers for this next album?
Oh, when I did the first Rolling Papers, I had done so much on like a mixtape level, and then I had my first single come out, and then that went #1. So my album was like my first opportunity to be like, this is my album, like, you know what I'm saying? So I had done all of that to get to this point. And then now with Rolling Papers 2, it's like I'm at a whole new point in my career where people may or may not know what to expect, or you know what I'm saying? So it's like I feel like this is such an opportunity to just come out to the world, and it's like it feels so important. It feels as important as the first time.
Yeah.
So that's why I said Rolling Papers 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now it's dope, man. I definitely got a chance to check out the album. I know it doesn't come out for another couple of weeks, man, but you know, we got that preview. And it's crazy because there's definitely like some classic Khalifa that longtime fans are gonna love. And then there's new layers to you and what's going on too. What parts of the album would sound familiar to fans, and then where'd you go off and experiment and grow as an artist?
I really blended it together to where it's more of an experience throughout the whole album. And then there's just hints and layers of it in there. So like a lot of the flows that I was using and a lot of the approach to the records were my more classic feel, you know what I mean? But I wanted it to come off sonically, still sound new.
Right.
So it was just a matter of like mixing and mingling all of those things to where it just makes the perfect amount of sense, and it's not overbearing to where it feels like I'm trying to be new or trying to be classic Wiz. It's just the perfect marriage of the two.
Right. Nah, it's dope, man. And it definitely sounds like a Wiz Khalifa. Like, I feel like I learned a lot about you in listening to this project. You know, songs like Rolling Papers 2, the title track, for example. You know, you say on it, you had this line that I wanted to ask you about. You said, I blew up quick and lost some shit, but I'm dealing though. Like, what were you talking about there? What was it that you lost? Like blowing up quick, you know, rising fast, losing, and still having to keep going.
Well, it's like a gift and a curse. You know, when you're moving fast, you kind of you sacrifice a lot of things. And I might have said lose like I gave it up, or like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
not like take an L.
Yeah, you just miss out on some things by being hella focused on this path. So it's like, in retrospect, like you get to look back and see like, oh man, damn, I kind of, you know what I mean? Man, I gained this, but I missed out on this. And these are some things that it's like you want to take time to go back and get. So that's kind of what I meant.
What were some of the things that you felt like you missed out on?
Just really like time, like spending time with my family. Just regular, like normal relationships, because you meet a lot of people and everybody's like business and everybody wants opportunity, and you miss out on like normal relationships with people, like just regular interaction.
And sometimes you never know like what the relationship is for.
Yeah, you kind of get it. It's up to you to balance, like, you know, who's normal and who's not. But like I said, when you're on that path and you want this one thing, you sort of invite more of the other type of people into your life because that's what you got going on. But then when you take a step back, you start to look and see how unbalanced it is.
Man, the one thing that I've always kind of appreciated about you and being in this business, and you see as artists grow in their careers, the people around them start to change. You know, you'll pick up and lose people along the way. But man, every time I see you, it's like the same core. You know, Will is always in the mix. Nate is always in the mix. Chevy, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the tail is the gang is actually still intact, and I always appreciated the way you was able to keep that together, and not kind of change up despite the success and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, we're family, and you know, my guys, they know me better than anybody in the world could, and it's bigger than just rap. You know what I'm saying? We're a team. I might be, you know, the one with the bars and can dress nice.
Shots.
But Will, we need him to. It's like, nah, but everybody plays their part effectively.
That's dope, man. One of the things that changed about you, man, following you on social media, the mixed martial arts, man, the training that you're going through. First of all, you look both. When you walked in, I said, "Dog, I'm a little afraid of you." Now, like, I always have respect for you, but I'm just not going to talk to Wiz Khalifa any type of way right now. But
carrying my weight, sir.
What prompted that change, man? Because it feels more so like a lifestyle change, and I want to know what prompted that change, and does it even affect you in the studio and the discipline that you do in the gym? Like, what does that do for you in the studio?
Yeah. I think just life pushed me in that direction of just wanting to make a change for myself and like do something that I wasn't necessarily like the best at, you know what I'm saying? But I could still learn and develop a passion for. And being healthy is like, it's a big part of my life now because I realized how unhealthy I was before. And that was just my thing, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I took to it and I gravitated towards it, and it's like one of them things that you'll just always see me doing now. Yeah.
Does it? I know on stage, you know, because you're about to go on tour with Ray Shremmerd, Days and Blaze tour. You're probably gonna see some new moves on stage,
Nah,
like
I mean,
physically
it's crazy.
fit.
Like it just helps all around, like you said, in the studio, like, you know, like everything. It just, my approach to life is a little bit different by being able to like go into the gym and push myself and stuff like that. Like on stage, I've always been the man, so it's not it's not gonna be like, you know, too much of a difference because it's mental when you get up there. But like it helped me expand in like totally different ways, and like I'm still like the same dude, you know what I mean? But the gym is like it's a huge part of my every day, like, you know what I mean, everything that I do. So
Would you ever go fight? Would you ever do it competitively, or is it more?
why
of a
does
training
everybody
workout?
want me to do that?
I'm just asking because you see it, you'll be like, oh wow, are we gonna see him on pay-per-view, or? But it's more of just a workout kind of thing, a discipline thing.
Well, honestly, like to be 100, I don't know about like a pay-per-view or something like that, but I would be completely fine with like setting something up and doing it like underground, no cameras, no phones, but like they bring their squad, we bring our squad. You train for it, and like it be a real thing. I'll totally be with that.
Right, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
dope. Going back to the album, man, I want to talk about this one record, and the fans haven't heard it yet. We don't want to give too much away, but you know, I definitely want them to walk away with this interview with a sense of what they're about to hear, because again, I feel like I learned a lot about you, and I've known you for years. We've done this maybe every single album. We've done one of these. Be Okay.
Yeah.
Feels like a song that was just very personal, open letter. What was the process of putting that record together for you?
That's a good question, the process. That song took like 3 or 4 years to write because I started the first verse when I was at one point in my life, and then the second verse came at another point in my life, and then the third verse came at another point in my life. So it is a super personal record, and it was my opportunity to like catch people up really fast as to like what I've been through in the past, 3-4 years.
Right, and just for those for reference, the first verse takes place in 2009. Who are you speaking to? What are you speaking on in the first verse?
Well, I said it doesn't start in 2009. It's like the beginning of that issue that I'm talking about starts in 2009. So really, it's explaining my journey as an artist of where you start out and everybody fucks with you and you're popping, and then you get to that point where the same people who love you is doubting you, and you're starting to see like weird shit and people questioning the same thing that they fell in love with. And every artist reaches that point. It was just, that was my take on it when it happened to me.
And this is like 09, right? So just for everybody following along at home. So if we're talking about 09, this is maybe flight school.
Well, no, I wasn't talking about, when I wrote that verse, it was probably like, it was way after 09.
But the time.
Yeah.
Because you start saying the scene of the doubt starting to happen. So this is around like flight school era. Probably, I feel like 09 for you. So like this is before Cushion OJ. I think
well, that's not when the doubt started coming.
Okay.
The doubt started coming like after the first album, like O and IMC and shit like that. And it's not even like from fans or just shit like that. It's like from people who are working on your project and were into your ideas before, and now it's like your ideas might not, it's like the same thing that they trusted before, they might not trust it later. So it's like you build a lot to stand on, and it gets shaky sometimes.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. How do you maintain confidence? Because I felt like you as an artist has always been somebody who knew who you were, even from the very beginning. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. I ain't have a pair of Chucks until I started listening to Wiz Khalifa music. Like you've always been an influencer and kind of went in your own direction and let everybody else follow. So through all that, how do you maintain that confidence as an artist? Because I feel like a lot of artists go through that.
Yeah, I just always stay comfortable in knowing that I'm a trendsetter. And like what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about when you did my mixtape and nobody understood it. That's where I'm confident is nobody gets it until it happens later.
Right.
And I'm always cool. I relax and I pick my shots, and I wait for my time. I don't get frustrated.
Yeah, we were talking off camera, and people ask me about Taylor All the Dice all the time and how that came together. And I always give credit. I always tell people that was Wiz's idea. I remember getting a phone call from Will that you wanted to do this, and I remember the first time I was unsure because I remember what it was. He was like, "Yo, the Easy Wider skits, because you used to have the Easy Wider skits. We're gonna take those off, and we want you to kind of replace that as an interview." And I used to love those skits. I'm like, the Taylors is gonna kill me. Like you set me up, but we went in and did it, and I was unsure, but it came out dope. And I will say and just give you credit. That changed my career. My career went on a different path after that mixtape. I think a lot of fans started looking at me differently. Man. Nah, I appreciate you, man, and it was definitely. And they always ask me where the full interview is. And I said it's in the vault, man.
That's a long interview too. It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, nah, for sure. And then the second verse, Be Okay. 2014 is the time. What are you talking about there?
On that part, I start talking about my relationship with my ex-wife and how that kind of came to be. But my main thing is to be tasteful about that.
You always have been though.
Yeah, I never spoke on it ever, like in any interviews or anything, but this is my album, you know what I mean? So I have to be transparent. I can't hide things. Like I got to show people. So that was my way of saying, this is how I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna let you know as much information as I feel like giving in these 16 bars. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Was it hard to do that, or does it just flow out because it's in the studio?
Well, for me, it's easy because I'm an artist.
Right.
And I don't have any bad feelings towards her, so it wasn't like I didn't have to it wasn't painful, but it's hard to like put that into music because that it is there forever. You know what I mean? And like that's kind of like a moment, like a thought and like a feeling that you kind of bring back up and that you put out there forever. So that's the difficult part about it.
And then you ended off in the last verse is a dedication to your sister.
Yeah,
That we recently
that passed away. Yeah, last year. Yeah.
And even that and you know, you guys, man, you really with a lot of class handle. You know, I know you're a celebrity, and the things that are private for you, you've kept private.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fans, for the most part, have respected it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I say all that to say it's really great to hear you kind of open up in the music. And again, why I say when fans hear this, they're gonna learn so much more about you than they ever thought they knew. And it's great to, you know, this isn't your first album, so to still be learning who Wiz Khalifa is so many years later is like really refreshing, bro. So I give you props for that. Man, I was out in Wyoming a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, you went?
Yeah, I went.
Oh, shit.
And you know, cause just being part of the media, like you got to check it out and you got to see what's going on. And I'm not gonna lie, there was two things that made my ear perk up, and I was like, "What?" He had the line about Sway, and Sway is my big brother. I learned everything from Sway. So the how Sway line, I was like, again. And when I listened to it, I caught the context. Cool.
It was like, all right, cool. Yeah.
And then Wiz Khalifa got mentioned, and he said we could be in North Korea. I could smoke with Wiz Khalifa. And again, I was like, what? And then when the context sunk in, I was like, oh, okay. What was your reaction when you hear something like that?
Well, first, hella people was hitting me like, this nigga Kanye said your name. I'm like, well, how did he say it? Like, don't just tell me that he said it. Like, how did he say it? He was like, it was cool. He shouted you out.
Right.
I'm like, all right, cool. So I listened to it. I thought, I was like, it was dope. Like, it was on a good song, and it was like a good quotable. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like it was like a good little classic line.
But you're dope too that you ain't react. Cause definitely the information came to you in pieces. Like,
yeah,
you know, somebody else with a hot head would have been like, man, fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Then you hear the context and you're like,
yeah. Nah, I'm always chilling, man.
You're super chill. Man, I want to talk about one of the things, man, that always comes up again when you're talking about Taylor Holidays. A little earlier is people debate. I always end up in these Twitter debates and about the best Wiz mixtape of all time. And you and I have talked about it a little bit, like off camera and stuff like that. But what do you think is the best Wiz mixtape of all time?
Prince of the City 2.
Prince of the City 2.
Hell yeah. See, niggas don't even know about that one. They caught up in like the internet era. Chevy just sent me a picture of the Prince of the City 2 CD, my nigga. They don't even got CDs no more. So, I mean, they do, but like, they don't got CD players.
Where you gonna play them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Prince of the City 2, that's the best Wiz mixtape ever. That started it all. Yeah.
What, can we rank them? Damn, I don't even mix it.
You can't rank them. And that's the thing that I was, man, see, I be meditating, right? And you was asking me like how I keep my confidence and how I don't get frustrated. Dude, I dropped so much relevant music, not even just music, like, you know what I mean? All of my projects, not just like mainstream shit, but the mixtapes, freaking Burn After Rolling, that's a classic. Taylor All the Dice is a classic. 28 Grams is a classic. Cabin Fever is a classic.
Cabin Fever is so hectic. There's so many hits
bro,
on that joint.
Like, yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, we didn't even say Cushion Orange Juice yet. That's just these four that we talking about. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, I'm always going to keep going and keep mastering what I got going on and just keep making better stuff. But I think it's really, really hard to rank them because everybody has their own personal favorite. Like, so many people say Taylor All the Dice is their favorite.
Which is hard for me. And that's usually when the debates come, I guess, because I was a part of that. And people thank me, and I'm like, he did the music. Like, but they'll be like, yo, Taylor All the Dice is a classic. And it is, and they'll be like, that's my favorite one. But I put Cushion OJ personally over Taylor All the Dice.
There's a lot of Taylor All the Dice.
There's a lot of Taylor All the Dice. Like, they will sit here and debate. Like, I feel like it's 50-50 whenever we get into this debate, Taylor All the Dice.
It's called Taylor All the Dice, bro. I named after my high school, man. Like, that's classic material, fam.
You know,
and we killed that, too.
Flight School gets slept on, too, man.
Flight School was That was when Twitter first came out.
Right.
Like it was first started. So I was
Right.
like the first flight.
Miss for Right Now, where you sampled Sonic the Hedgehog.
Material.
Yeah,
Sledgerin joint.
all of that. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's crazy. And Burn After Rolling, we said too.
Yeah,
Cabin Fever, man. You definitely got some joints. And I mean,
Burn
we didn't even
After
talk about
Rolling
How
had
Fly.
the song Burn After Rolling. Damn, How Fly, bro.
We didn't even talk about How Fly. What's up with you and Spitter lately, man?
That's my dog.
Yeah.
I mean, you already know that.
Right, yeah,
but it's like, that's my brother. Like, he's dropping his projects. He's doing his thing. And
he just dropped something with Harry Fraud.
Yeah. We were supposed to do 2009. But honestly, like, it's just like a timing thing. Like, I want to really kill it, like, because we dropped Live in Concert, which was amazing. I still want people to go get that and listen to that as much as possible. But we dropped that and we did what we could with that. But I really, really want to like take it to the next level with the next project, but just because of how awesome we are.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, you guys are amazing, man, and really set a tone. You know, I remember being at Double XL at the time. I remember doing the freshman cover.
Mm-hmm.
I remember music changed.
Yep.
And you were at the forefront of that, man.
Yep.
And it's good to see you here still changing music, man.
Yes,
so
sir.
I commend you for that for sure.
Appreciate that,
Yeah,
man.
Two more things I want to do before we get out of here. One, I want to play a little game that we have called Record Break. So I'm just going to throw questions at you, and it's just rapid response. First thing that comes to your mind, all right?
Let's do it.
What's Wiz Khalifa's favorite record to get high to?
Record, like song or album?
Yeah, anyone. Record, defining it however you want. It could be a song, it could be album.
Sunshine Lady by Willie Hutch.
Classic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's your favorite Wiz Khalifa record?
Studio Lovin'.
That was on Deal or No Deal?
Yeah.
No Deal or No Deal. Oh man, Studio Love is your favorite one.
Yeah.
I feel like that might have been a true story or something.
I went off on that song.
Nah, man, most definitely. This Plane was on that too. That's another classic project, man. Who's the one artist that you're just dying to do a record with?
Jay-Z.
Oh, what would that sound like?
Crazy, bro. That'd be insane.
Think we can make that happen?
I think I just gotta talk to Hov, like personally, like. I gotta do a song with Jay-Z. I gotta be in the studio with him. Right. Yeah.
Have you ever? So you never had that conversation with him?
We never talked about doing music. We just kicked it. Yeah, but we never. And it's crazy, but yeah.
Nah, that's my favorite artist of all time,
bro. Huge inspiration.
Like me and you and the relationship that we have and the way I enjoy your music. That for me personally, that'd be a dream come true to hear you two on the record. Yeah. We're gonna make that happen. We're gonna put that in the universe. Hov, I know you watching.
Yeah.
And then right now, what's the best record out right now besides yours? It can't be a Wiz Khalifa record, but the one that you jam into right now.
That YG, that Big Bang.
Ooh,
that song is hard.
Yeah.
That beat is crazy.
You know what beat is crazy on some West Coast shit? Over your album, Gin and Drugs.
Yeah.
When you guys hear this Gin and Drugs record, it sounds like some old West Coast Dog Pound, but definitely 2018.
Yeah. We went up on that one.
I don't crip walk. I don't play with those things, but I might in private when this thing go up.
I know some people who can show you how to get it out.
Out of respect, you know what I mean? Finally, man, I just want you to finish. The show's called For the Record. So I just want you to finish the sentence. You can tell the people anything you want. For the record.
For the record, this is about to be the best Wiz Khalifa project up to date. My most personal album. And I can't wait till July 13th when everybody can get it.
I can't wait neither, man. It takes a lot for me not to talk about what I heard and tweet what I heard, but I don't want to ruin it for other fans. But there's some really dope records on here. There's hidden records. There's records within records, transitions and changes, man. It's really a dope project.
I'm glad you know.
Yeah, nah.
Because you my partner, so it's like you would be like, maybe you should put it out on September 13th instead of July.
Nah, man, I got you, man.
Yeah,
but Wiz, man, thank you for coming through, man. Thank you for doing this.
You already know.
It's For the Record, man. Good luck on tour.
Yes, sir.